We'll start today, and I just want to go over some real world work that we did. We completed for a client. As you know, Dr. Victoria Boyd, we completed her bot, we completed her Ask Dr. Boyd app, and we also created a virtual marketing letter as well as an actual live virtual marketing letter that's linked to a payment page that we collect resources from. This conference that I'm speaking at, it's called the AI Summit for Nonprofits. And as you probably, we've been working on that for the last several weeks. We are really proud of the work that Danny and the virtual assistants have done. We got some great news. Ramona Rogers last week, she interviewed Dr. Boyd, and so hopefully that will be out. And I'm going to ask each one of you if you have been seeing any social media postings that we have created for the AI Summit. If you have, we probably need to make sure that we are all, if you can just drop your social media profiles or names into the chat, that would be great because we want to make sure that we tag each one of you. Here's what I discovered. We can make all of the nice content that we want using our AI workstation. And if it doesn't get to anyone, we're not really affecting a change or calling to action what we really want them to do, to act now, buy, register, or join. So there's always a call to action when we are doing this business. We're at a time where we can't afford to just play around and see what works. We need to do something. I'm asking you to make sure that we are leveraging the leverage aspect and the learn, leverage, launch, and earn moniker that we use. It's the leveraging, the leveraging, the leveraging. We always need to be leveraging each other. So I'm asking you to go out there and look at my social media pages for KEMIT Kimmitt Group on Facebook. And if you see the post for the AI Summit, I'm asking that if you guys will forward it to your channels or any nonprofits that you may know. The next thing on the agenda would be to continue the thread of marketing and advertising. Let's see if I can share my screen. One of the things that we also have done, just give me a second here. Okay, so can you guys see this page?
It's coming up.
Yeah, okay.
It's working on it. There we go.
Okay, so what this is a promoter that I've worked with in the past. It's a Christian promoter. It's called the Hey Poppy Network. And he has over 10,000 nonprofit contacts. And so he created, based on what we sent him, a post for our nonprofit impact on the AI Summit. And this is what we were building towards. So a real world example, real world client. And
running a nonprofit isn't easy. It's a constant balancing act of fundraising, donor engagement, and administrative tasks. But what if you could transform these challenges into opportunities with AI? Join us at the AI Summit for Nonprofits, where visionary leaders like Dr. Victoria Boyd will guide you through revolutionary AI. Discover how AI-powered solutions can streamline grant writing, enhance donor engagement, and optimize operations. Don't miss this opportunity to future-proof your nonprofit. Reserve your spot today. Register now.
So that is out there, and I'm asking each one of you to either go to the Hey Poppy Network to like and subscribe there, or go to the Kimmitt Group Facebook page. You can also find us on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and all of those other things. So everyone on this line, I really would appreciate it if you would do that. So let's see. Okay, so what do you guys think about the promo? You got any questions?
No questions, but it looked great.
Thank you, Keisha. Great. We want to do this for every one of you, given the opportunity. So just keep that in mind when you are planning an event, or if you haven't thought about planning one, you should. Just start small, find a small business office. Maybe you can rent a space real cheaply. And Danny and I will be happy, and I'm throwing Danny under the bus, but we'll be happy to join you if you want to do a meet and greet AI event or anything like that. Just give it enough time, put it on the calendar. If you want to do something local, you want to talk to your church group about these products and services that we have to offer, we'll be happy to do that. We just need to plan it. and let us know who the audience is. And so we can develop the appropriate and relevant content for the presentation.
Groups love me. I've
I'm
done
glad-
probably 4 or 5 in the last year alone, and they enjoy the content.
These are the people we're trying to reach. We're really trying to bring this demystify this technology to the degree where we're saying, look, AI is a double-edged sword. It's either the greatest invention in the history of mankind, or it's going to be the death of us all. That's a wide spectrum. So in the meantime, though, what are we going to do in order to make these tools, the use of them ethically? And that's what we're trying to develop here today is ethical users, because trust me, there are going to be a lot of bad actors, and there are already out there. The groups that we're associated with, it's probably one of the most hopefully ethical groups in terms of the use of this. But we don't want to misuse this technology or the platform. So we only want to partner with people that we know, like, and trust, and that you develop relationships with. So if you bring them into the ecosystem, we're going to assume that you've done your due diligence and you bring in the right people. So, okay. Now, David, I heard David talking about
Bear?
David Allen, also known as Bear. I heard him talking about that he was demoing his, I guess, BuildBiz platform or something. He was in class. And honestly, that is a good conversation starter. People ask you, what are you doing? Go to Panera Bread or something and sit there, working on your workstation, get people interested and excited in the technology. And that's what you're trying to do. And that's why it's important that you start to think about building out your brands, building out your white labels, and being able to resell this, because that's the earned part of this solution, being able to resell it. So,
if I can, real quick, I was at a barbershop. A friend of mine who owned a barbershop had his 80th birthday party, and I was using the platform to do the ideator, the big idea generator. I did it twice for 2 individual people. So yeah, and I'm always talking about it. I can't talk about it enough.
well, that's exactly, you're doing the right thing. And that's why I had this conversation, because I want to make sure others, basically we are, how to put it, evangelists of ethical AI technology and usage. So, I mean, that's what we want to become known as, evangelists. Okay, I think that's all I have, other than reminding you to please help us market the AI Summit. It's very important for our brand and for us in order to grow our numbers. And so once people see what we're doing, they're like, wow, we want more of that. So that's the whole point of what we're trying to do, is trying to get people excited. We got a lot of training sessions and things of that nature. The last thing, I think, before Danny starts getting into his lunch and learn of an AI workstation, if we can use that. And Danny, can you go over the agentic agent again today? We just want to show people what's coming out and what we're moving towards, because that is the next step. Automating workflows is the big ticket money item, if you know and understand and how to do it. It's a process. It's not for the faint of heart. You actually have to work. You don't need to be a programmer, but you really need to, follow step by steps and watch what Danny does, because I'm even learning it myself.
This is the email that Joel sent out, and these are some of the things we'll talk about today. So if you're not getting this email, it just means that you're on the BuildBiz team instead of AI Workstation. This is what we're going to talk a little bit about today. We all work on the same platform ultimately. It's just a matter that everybody might be logging in from a different direction. If you log in on the AI Workstation or you log in on the BuildBiz, it's fine. Either way, you'll see the same apps. Right now, AI Workstation has a few apps that BuildBiz doesn't have, including the actual Ask Dr. Boyd app. So we created a section. I think everybody here is aware of it. We do training 3 times a week. The one on Thursday is the one we're on right now, and that one is specific for entrepreneurs and the AI incubator team. I changed the Wednesday one. We're going to be focusing more on sales and marketing, and the Tuesday one will be the general one. So, and they're all recorded. I'm only 2 weeks behind now. I'm catching up. So just click on the link to get to see any of the different videos. So I'm getting there. So as I was saying, the Ask Dr. Boyd app is live. If you have a nonprofit and you just want to take advantage of her knowledge base and just ask her any question you want 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, feel free to do that. If you want us to create an AI expert or a custom AI based on your expertise, your particular part of the industry or market, please go ahead and let us know. We can set up a quick call and kind of walk through it. Let's do this while I'm speaking on this particular topic. Give me 1 second here. I will drop my calendar link into the chat, or you can use Joel's, but we should definitely network. So feel free to click on the calendar and Joel and I will jump on with you and we'll strategize on creating a AI personality around your expertise. We'll train it up and get it going. This whole process is something that we want to do together. So if you want to make money on your expertise, you can lock your area of expertise. So if you have video training under LMS that you want us to share, you can do it that way, where you can only get access to it by paying either a monthly fee or a one-time fee. So you can monetize your knowledge, right? So those are the different ways we can do it. Or we can have an app that focuses on specific things. So for example, this one is AI-powered grant writing and fundraising. So again, if you don't have to pay for if you're already a member on the AI Workstation side of the house. I'm going to bring some of these apps with Joel's permission to the BillBiz as well, because again, the more exposure we get for the AI Summit, the better. And then we can build it into the product into the platforms, where we point out. So this is the website Joel was just speaking about. And again, everything you see on this website was completely built within the platform. So we can build you out something similar if you want a sales funnel or a website with multiple pages. We can build it out in the platform. And so it's a very powerful tool in your arsenal, as they say. So you definitely want to have your own version of this and be able to point to it for any of your particular customers. I did take a look I saw Bear put up his. I took a quick look at it and we can kind of walk through it. He's driving right now, so he can't do that. But, 1 week, we definitely want to walk through his world and see where we can help him grow his network and grow his business. And then nonprofit courses. Yes, so Joel created a bundle around the nonprofit courses, and you can click on it and just go right in and you can see some of the tools that he has created. We're going to be adding a ton of more of these. So we could do something like this for you and your business where everything is kind of available. And then we have the Ask the Experts and so on. So most of the website, most of you have seen already. New tools that some of us may or may not be as accustomed to. One of them is called Super Agent. And Super Agent is a lot of fun. I've been playing with it to the point now where I am definitely getting close to being a pro at it. So Super Agents, you can utilize the Super Agents to kind of perform tasks. So for the team that's on the call, there's a difference between an agent and a bot. So ChatGPT's, Copilot, Gemini, all of them in their standard versions are what we call a GPT, or a generative pre-trained transformer. It's trained up on a large language model, and you can input information via a prompt, and it'll give you back an answer or image or a Excel spreadsheet. So it's input, output, input, output, input, output. An agent is different because you can give it a task, and in that task now it can go out and perform those tasks for you. And you can also lay out several tasks at once. And once you lay out those several tasks, it will essentially work from the top to the bottom until it's done. Now, if it has a question, it'll pause and ask you, hey, do you want me to do this or do that? That kind of thing. But generally speaking, it'll just keep flowing until it gets to the end. For example, this tool here, I can go in and I can give it a task that I want to perform, and it will essentially work towards that task until it gets all the way to the bottom. So if I give you an example here, what are 3 trends in content creation content creators are using AI for on TikTok and Pinterest today? Write a blog post. So that's a simple 2-step. And so what it'll do is it'll reach out to the content manager and say, hey, and it's so funny to me when the super agent, I did skip a step. I want to show you the structure of this a little bit so that you understand what is happening as it goes along. You don't, by the way, you don't have to understand the structure to use it. I'm just explaining so that everybody is a little more powered, has a little bit more data. So for example, the super agent is the boss, the CEO. And under the super agent, he has managers or she has managers. There's a communication manager, research manager. In this layout, we can have as many different layouts as we want. And then there's a content manager, and they all manage bots or workers under them that specialize in certain tasks. Like here's the Google Docs bot, here's the Google email bot, Google Slides bot, Google Calendar, and so on down the line, web crawling, real-time retrieval. This is a new bot. This bot here is called Deep Dive, the Research Specialist. And what's going on is when you configure up your worker, you can determine which tools is that worker allowed to access. For example, this is brand new. So I can click that now, and this bot can now reach out to use the deep research model. So if you guys have been keeping up in the AI space, generally speaking, if you ask ChatGPT a question, it responds instantly with a response. And when I say instantly, it might be a couple of seconds. It gives you a response as quickly as possible. Deep research mode just means that it's going to pause, think about what you're asking it to do, and then go do some research and find the best answer. So this may take a couple of minutes, it may take 20 minutes, however long it takes. It'll keep iterating within its own self, and it'll show you what it's doing as it looks for the best answer. So that's what the deep research mode does. And then you can also turn on a variety of the other tools in the platform, including the blog writer, iVideos, the memory tool. And sometimes you don't turn them on because that particular bot doesn't need to have access to it, but you can turn it on if you want to for that bot. So I would turn them all on, generally speaking, but you can determine which bots need what. And here's what's interesting. The memory tool is also relatively new. It's only been out for a couple of weeks. And the memory tool allows the AI to remember things. So when you go from task to task, it doesn't have to ask you details. It'll remember the previous threads and things like that. And more importantly, you can create your own memories and put what you want it to remember so that you don't have to keep entering it over and over again. There we go. Just got to scroll it out of the way a little bit. There we go. I'll tell the team that's a UI problem. All right, so you now have that one saved to do that. So again, there's a hierarchy is what my main point is. And let's go back to what I was asking it to do. See what it's been up to while I've been chit-chatting. I like the fact that the super agent, when it asks a question, can you please clarify your blog question? Would you like to add this to a new topic? So I did the whole use existing blog, right? And then it handed it off to the content manager. And then the content manager went out and found the 3 topics that we're going to write the blog on. Okay, so this is what's trending in TikTok and Pinterest. One of my students asked me on another training class. So then the Imogen, the visualizer, created the hero image for the blog, right? So, and by the way, the super agent passed this request on to Imogen, right? Generate the image, gave a description. I didn't write this prompt. It wrote the prompt for me. That's the benefit of using an agent. And then Imogen went off, did a great job, came up with a background kind of general image. And so then it was handed off to Bella, the blog writer. Bella, the blog writer, went off and started working on the task, trying to make it as laid out for a blog, for example. And then it was sent back it was called by the super agent. And then please add the blog post to AI Agent News, which is a blog I started writing. And it just added that particular content to it. This is the blog post that it created. This is not the real blog, but it's just giving me a layout of what it looks like. So I could go back and say, add inline images for each topic and then it would put an image or a picture in each one of those categories. I could tell it expand upon each blog post, et cetera, et cetera. So, and then you can automate this task. This is where it gets to be fun. So in the features, I've mentioned memories already. Again, you can go in here and give it a memory. I am Danny Ross. My email address is danny@digitalexpress.com or .ai. And so it'll remember that. And then I can do automation. So I could have it run that task, right? The task prompt. I could give it to it, but also tell it run it once a week and add a new blog post to wherever once a week, right? Monthly, whatever I want it to do. I can also connect it via custom tools or APIs in this case to other places. So some of the things that Joel and I are going to introduce to the platform is a lot of Zoho based automation that we're going to add to the AI workstation. And you can have your super agent trigger that particular automation to run and go do something with Zoho or LinkedIn or whatever. As long as it has an API, we can build it out for you. So this is something that we can strategize on. What kind of automations would you like to see? All right, I'll pause here and see if anybody has any questions. That was a lot of data, so I'll stop and see if anyone has any questions.
So, Danny, I sent you a question in the chat.
Sorry, hold on.
So in this example that you're using, I have a blog already, and I sent the blog, let's see, and I sent the blog post into the chat as well.
Okay.
So what do you need? What's the first step?
At this stage, okay, this is why I was saying the Zoho integration we could probably do easier. But right now, the super agent is still a relatively new thing, right? So in other words, in the platform, I mean. So it is still in a semi-beta stage. The only direct integration that we have is directly into Google. So, we can integrate into all those Google pieces that I just spoke about. We don't have direct integration in general to everything yet. So that's where the APIs come in. If you have an API, we can build out a custom methodology. So what you could do is have the super agent go out, do the research, create the blog, and then of course you could just take that blog post that's been created and manually put it into your external blog. If the blog is internal, and when I say internal, I mean you're using the blog tool in the platform, then you can have the logo maker add it to the blogs that you already have. So let's say now that this blog was the one that you're using, right, via embed method on AI for humanity. So what you would need to do is, so this is the, let me go here, hold on a second. Actually, sorry. It's so funny when you try to do these things. There we go. So this is the blog that you want to put this into, but we wouldn't be able to just drop it into your AI for Humanity. You would manually have to do it. But at the same time, if you have access to the back end of AI for Humanity in Zoho, I can take the embed code. I could take this embed code, generate embed code. You could select all of them or just, whichever one you want to do. So I can generate embed selected posts, latest 6 posts or whatever the case is. All right. And so I could grab that. And so that embed code is what I would give. So if I wanted to embed it in AI Humanity, I would go to the website builder and embed it that way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, so that's how we could do it. And then anything that you generate after that would automatically show up in AI for Humanity.
Yeah, and I think that makes sense. It's a process, so
we could do it tomorrow. We can't do it today only because we have to go into the back end of AI for Humanity.
Right.
But any website, so let's do something fun. Let's go to the website creator. And remember, guys, use the EO website creator. It's the new one, the best one for all of these types of things. The only reason I don't get rid of the other ones is because if somebody has created a website using one of the legacy ones, I don't want to just delete it and then they're, what happened to my website? So if I went in here to this one, this is just a sample website, and I created let's add a new row, and it's just going to be a 1-column row. I can put it anywhere. Let's go here. Yeah, let's throw it in. This should be interesting. I haven't tried it on this template yet. Let's go to the bottom and just drop it right there. And then I could add a component. In this case, the component I'm adding is you can add custom JSON or HTML. Bottom line is this is where you go to put in your embed, right? So I could drop the code if I have it. Looks like I lost it. Spent too much time talking. Hold on. Wow. Where did I actually create the embed spot? My fault. User error. There we go. Embed. And so we'll do the 3 latest. Generate embed code. There we go. Copy to the clipboard. And there we go. I didn't do that step. That's I said user error. All right. So now I have the embed code for that post, or that blog, I should say. I can just click off on there and then click off on the save button. And that's been saved. And then I go back to preview. There's our beautiful 3 last posts generated, embedded. Of course, once I update or add another post, it'll automatically slide one out and keep the third one. That's an example of how to do that auto-magically, as Apple likes to say.
That's beautiful. That's awesome.
It is fun. There's certain things that are really, really cool. Then you start putting them all together to build out live content on your website. So you always have something fresh, especially if you have the agent go out once a week or whatever, gets new, fresh content from the internet, makes a blog post, and then boom, it gets put into your blog and it automatically updates. That's what you need, because if you're going to build an authority on the internet and when search engines are looking for you, that's why I still tell you to use the AEO website creator, because it has a file in there called LLM.txt. And what that does is it automatically updates for everything you add content-wise. So when the search engines are looking for a particular topic, if you are constantly putting in new content, it'll find you. So it's even better than SEO in the old days, where you were using keywords and long keywords and all that kind of stuff. It builds better content overall. So that's why I suggest it. And so there's your post. I didn't write any of it. So by the way, the other new app, so let's say we have that blog post that we just wrote, and we want to find out, what's the amount of AI generated content in that blog post. I'm just going to take 2 paragraphs to make it quick. I can have it check the humanity score, and the human score for that is 0. It's like, you didn't write any of that, Danny. So before you post your blog, you can humanize it with this new tool. And so you basically would say, okay, humanize that for me, click the button, and it would run. And what it'll do is it'll see what the score is after it runs. And if it's less than 80%, it'll run it again, and it'll do that 4 times until it gets the human score up to about 80%. And then that 80% is what you can then post on your blog as a finished product. And that also gets you a better score with the search engines, because a lot of them, of course, have AI detectors now as well. So it's an AI war, as I like to joke, between the humanizer AI and the regular large language model AI, and they're in a battle to whatever, but it's an interesting war that we have just started. And it's important to humanize your text if you really want to succeed. It's also good for the human reader, because you can recognize phrases and words that AI uses all the time in content, and it gets to be a drag. So humanizing it. There's another one for your AI humanity website. You can definitely write a post on that one, Joel.
In a world of. That's how they all start.
How far is this going to go? Will we be able to tell if it's human written or not if human beings are using AI Humanizer to make it human? I love this stuff. It's hilarious to me. So what I tell people all the time is, first of all, should I use AI? Well, the answer is, do you want to compete in the year 2025? So the answer is yes. Now, you can get into the ethics of should I share that the content that I'm creating was partially AI generated. You don't want to say it's completely AI generated because then why would somebody want to read it, right? Makes sense. So from an ethics point of view, you should put yourself into anything you post and anything you put up on the internet simply because, first of all, originality. Second of all, it'll be better received by your audience if it's genuine. So that's why it's fine to do these types of things to generate content ideas. It's fine to generate content with it, but you do want to go and read it and edit it before you post it. I will always 100% suggest that.
Let's talk about ways, tactics, techniques, and procedures to humanize in terms of using the create model as well as training your knowledge base goes a long way in helping you humanize your content on the other end with any language model. Do you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. So, for example, if you are creating a custom app and you're building out your knowledge base for a particular app, you do have to sign up for the white label to gain access to creating AI personalities and all that fun stuff. So knowledge base is one of those. So for example, in the Ask Ramona app, we've got 54 documents. And when I say documents, I should say 54 items because there's more than just documents in here. There's the PDFs, there's the Word docs, you can put in PowerPoints, Excel files. You can drop in URLs or domains that you want that are related to you and your expertise. So for example, here's a Royal Influencers, which is Ramona's company and organization. So, we want to have all of the content that she already has on that page ingested into the database of or knowledge base of the AI personality. So it understands and can respond to questions as if Ramona was there answering those questions. So that's one of the things that we want to include. You can also, and this is where Joel was going, is you can train it on custom information. You have a diary or you have a whole list of notes that you've taken over the years, and it may not be in a particular thing. You can just copy paste it into this space and create it and add it directly. Let's say, here's a good use case. Let's say you've done 100 interviews and you have those interviews out on YouTube. You can go to YouTube, get the transcript, copy paste the transcript right into this area, the manual document. And now all of that knowledge that you have out there on YouTube is immediately ingested into your AI personality, your knowledge base. And so it knows all of the things you've said over the years, and it's right in here. So if it scans the URL, it doesn't get that data within the video. So you want to grab the transcript of that video and put it into the knowledge base, and then the AI, next day you ask it a question about something that was in that video, it would know the answer to that, and that would be inclusive. So if you want to train it in your personality, your knowledge, that's another great way to do it. Hopefully that answered the question.
Yes. And I was wondering these last few minutes if we could just go around and ask people what are they working on and what will be helpful to them. And we ask each person to kind of give us some ideas of how we can improve these training sessions to make it resonate, more relevant, and more fun. So I'm going to start with Authorice, and then we'll get with Keisha.
Hi, so I basically am looking to use the platform for image generation, blog creation, and projections, business planning, things of that nature. So I was interested in what he just did with the blog post because I'm not generating as many on my website as I need to. but that's also because I'm also trying to do all of the things with
An
the
entrepreneur
website.
needs to do. Yeah, yeah. You're
Yeah,
busy. Bottom
exactly.
line.
Exactly. So I'm hoping that using this platform, using the AI agents, is going to help simplify some of the tasks that I need to do on my website. I just got a notification about Google Merchant, and so I got to fix that issue and things. And I'm just hoping that, because I use ChatGPT a lot for these tasks, and I'm still finding that it's not giving me exactly what I need. I wanted this platform to kind of help because I think it asks more questions and it thinks a little bit more deeply into what is needed, what you're really asking. And as a new entrepreneur in this space, sometimes I don't know what to ask. So I think that's why I'm interested in the platform and what it can do.
Okay, just to respond to Author Reese, a few things, Author Reese. So that is good. First things first, spend more time on your, I think you have Bill Biz maybe, but spend more time developing your knowledge base and getting all the information in that you possibly can about yourself. And then one day we'll take you to show you how to apply that to your bot so that, you can ask yourself questions and then ask the AI to ask you any questions that you haven't thought of. And so you can actually say, interview me to complete this prompt for any information that should be included. So write that down. Make sure you ask it to interview you if because that's very common. Sometimes you don't know what to ask. And one last question. Have you taken the Create training? Are you familiar with that, the Create training?
I have not.
Okay, Danny, I would recommend her to Create in terms of how to talk to the large language models. Now, we do have a course that we sell for $149 where it goes over the whole process, becoming certified, and it includes the Create model. And that's on my website. I'll be happy to send you that. We also have some free training on the Create model, and that teaches you how to talk to any large language model. It doesn't matter, to create content, text, videos, or anything else. First things first, you need to understand the Create model. Okay. All right. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
so I have programs already that I've bought. I have at least two platforms with that information in it, and I've been using AI for quite a while, which brought me to another thing I was going to ask. Typically, you have to give the AI the chatbot anyway. You have to give it a title, And so I'm wondering. I saw some names and things of that nature. What I guess what person or personalities is these bots using to create the content?
Okay, good question. So let me point out two things, and this goes along with the knowledge that Joel was just speaking of. So there is a video here on the create method in the platform. It's the third one over. And then if you want the extended version, you can go to the link that Joel's going to send you. The other thing is, and again, you said you've got a lot of training in it, so I won't spend any more time on that. The other thing is, let me bring this back up here. Sorry. And again, if you want to find an app, just type it into search. So the Big Dream Generator, have you done that one already? I can't remember.
No, I have not done that one yet.
Definitely do this one because what it does is it gives you a foundational tool similar to the create method. And then from there, now you have this, and you may have done this on your own, but if you haven't, it really is a good tool for you to kind of walk through. It covers all of the big important things that you should know about your own business before you even try to create content. And then you can apply this to any aspect of your business from then on. So example is if you're going to generate an image, you can feed that into the image generator. I think I've done this demo for you where if you go into the content creation, you can say to any of these models that are these image generators, you can say, so this is like Joel. I'll pretend I'm Joel for a second. Oh, I like that icon, Joel. That's a cool one. I'll create a new project now. Think about it. Clothing. I don't want to mess up what he has going on. So by the way, you can separate your tasks and projects so that everything that you create are kind of in one bucket, makes it easier. And then you could just feed that whole business brief that it created for you out of the Big Dream Generator into the AI image generator. And so what it's going to do is going to read through about your business. and it's going to come back with 20 ideas for images that you can use for content, for blog posts, for website building, for advertising, and so on and so forth, right? And so then you can say, okay, it gives you a basic information. By the way, this is not your business. This is just the one I copied. A bustling office scene with nonprofit leaders. If you want to be not, specific and be the bias, you can either say Black or you could say diverse nonprofit leaders gathered around. So if you don't, you're going to get a bunch of white guys with beards. It's just the bias of AI, as you know by now. It's just a reality. All right, so the image came back, and so that's the image that it created. And then you could go on and say the next one, volunteers joyfully working together at a community event showcasing seamless coordination. Very vague one, right? But you could take the ideas and add to it, right? So you don't have to use the images that it's creating. The whole point I'm making is that one document allows you to communicate effectively with all of the others, depending on what it is that you're trying to create. And so you do want to guide it specifically to where you want to go. What else was I trying to talk about, Joel? Refresh my memory. Sorry, I went off on a tangent. You had made a couple of points. One is use
Well,
the
we were talking about the create model.
create model. What I like about the platform is, you can absolutely get the best results out of the create model, but as long as you're specific in what you're looking for, you can generate really good content and really good things. Authorize, what was the second thing you said you wanted to be able to do that you're having challenge with?
So, I said three things. One, I said image creation, content creation, which I use a lot for my social media pages, and then also business documents. So financial projections, business planning, tweakings, things like that.
So that is definitely a good one for the combination of a AI personality and the large language model like ChatGPT, meaning that it's using OpenAI's APIs. And so you can come in here after you have so what I would do is create that first thing, right, which is the business brief in the Big Dream Generator. Then I would say to it something like, what kind of a financial projection would you like me to do first? So just tell me, what kind of a thing do you want to ask the AI about?
So I'm trying to get funding. So I need,
perfect.
Yeah, so I need,
All right, let's start with that. You are a financial advisor for nonprofits and profit organizations. I want you to look at this information and help me put together my initial document for getting funding. Specifically, I want you to help me work towards an effective business plan. So give me the outline for that first. And the reason why you want to do the outline first, because then you can tweak whatever the outline that it gives you, and then you can go back and make it better. So this is just an example of it. So, but now it has something to work with because it knows about your business because you filled out the Big Dream Generator. It knows about your target audience, your competitive analysis. So then you can go back and say, hey, give me a SWOT analysis based on this, or add this, or change this. And then you could tell it, obviously, how much money you're trying to get, and it'll give you different recommendations. So it's about doing that interview process that Joel was speaking on. We have a whole class on the beginning interview process that you should do. This is really a quick and down and dirty version of it, but at least you get the start of it. Market analysis, organizational structure, products and services, marketing strategy, very simple. I like the OODA loop stuff. We spent a lot of time on Sundays talking about the OODA loop stuff. So it's
Serve, orient, decide, act.
Thank you, Jill. Old military term. Thank you.
No, Danny, I worked with a guy, Colonel John Boyd, who invented that term, believe it or not.
Wow.
Back in 1985, yeah. So he invented
Come on, man. We got to put that in it's in your book, right?
No, it's not. All you got to do is look up who originated the OODA loop, OODA, is Colonel John Boyd. I worked for him.
See, this is what I'm talking about, Joel. Come on, man. We got to get this all out there, man. Come on. But yeah, OODA loop, it's an important conversation point. If you're building a business, you're in that OODA loop right now, Therese, where you're like, okay, this is working, this is not working. I need to scale, I need to figure this out. So OODA loop is all about that. In building that into your business helps make you much more successful. So anyway, hopefully I answered some of your questions, Therese.
Yes.
Perfect.
Can we get to Keisha real quick?
That's what I said. Keisha, what are you working on and how can we help you?
Right now, I am working on building a community around digital products and for beginning entrepreneurs wanting to tap into the business and also grow the business that they have, or if they're already in business. A lot of people that I talk to don't really understand like the automations and stuff like that. So those are like little different courses that I wanted to put into the community that they can have access to.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple other things about building digital products and making the best of it. And one of the things that I wanted to include in the membership was the Chat GPT bots, where they can actually ask specific questions about content creation, like give me a 30-day calendar on how to post to Instagram or something like that. And specifically, that, it is spit it out for them, or like anything specific to like digital products. I wanted to do that. And I wanted to be like a hybrid program where it's like a 2-tier thing. So like when they first come in, if they just want access to just digital product stuff, that'll be available for them at a specific price. Or if they are interested in the AI automations and, the platform that I'm using that I want to white label, they will have access to that dashboard as well.
Okay.
So that'd be like a separate price, but it'd be like for, let's say, the inner circle part of the community, because I don't want to push people into, AI if that's not what they're into. Some of them might just be into like, making and selling digital products online.
No, that makes perfect sense. So, by the way, if they're not into AI, what you should do is a little magic show for them. And by a magic show, I mean show them something that is pertinent to their business that is not threatening. So you heard Bear talking about being in a barbershop, showing them how to use the platform to create content for a happy birthday. So something non-threatening. And what that'll do is it'll bring down their concern about the evils of AI. And so everybody can use AI. It's just that they don't know. First of all, they already are using AI in their day-to-day life. They're just not aware of it. And so if they book a flight, AI is in there. If it doesn't matter what you do today, if you're using any kind of corporate tool and publicly available tool on the internet, AI is in there somewhere. So what you want to do is bring it home to them on their level so they're not afraid of it. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, so I would do that. So again, people like things that they can relate to. So that's the way that you can do it. And this is something that I find with AI, it gets tired in the middle of the day. And so what you do is just leave it alone for a couple of minutes and come back to it. You mentioned you're trying to relate to people who are afraid of AI a little bit. What was the other thing you were trying to do?
Well, like to also like sell them the platform if they are, so they can like learn about automating businesses.
Okay, perfect. Good question. So if you are doing your thing, let's go back to the top level here so I can show you this. So what you can do when you go to build out your white label, there's a ton of technology that you can apply to different roles. So what a role is you can have users that are they get, for example, the 80, 90 plus apps that are in the platform, but you start creating custom GPTs and content just for that particular customer. So let's say you build a knowledge base for a particular customer. What you do then is add a role, and in the role, you can determine what apps they get. And so the two custom GPT apps, like they could be down here, right? and you could just click on those apps and add them and give that role a name. So that would be Johnny's Bakery or something, right? So only that customer would be able to see those apps in your white label. Do you see where I'm going? So now they have their own custom GPT that you help them build. So this is the difference between ChatGPT and the BuildBiz platform. If you build a custom personality for them, you can sell it to just that individual. Say you sell it to them for $200, $300, whatever, right? Only they would be able to access it. And then even more importantly, they could take, just like I did with the, let me show you here. Let's see, Chat Wizard. Okay, so just like I showed you with the blog post, you can create that. So here's the BuildBiz chatbot you can build out, right? When you build these out, all you're doing is taking the chatbot, give it a name, give it a general message of what it's going to say when it wakes up, and you could determine whether it collects information, doesn't collect information, that kind of thing. You pick a color for it, and so on and so forth. So you would build it out. And in the configuration of the AI settings, you're building out the knowledge base that it's going to use, selecting the knowledge base it's going to use. So I built one just to answer questions about the platform, and that knowledge base is in here, and then you point it to that knowledge base. So you would get all of the customers' SOPs and PDFs and documents and everything that is about their business. You'd build it into the chat bot, and then you could apply it and embed it on you just get the little snippet here, this code here, and you would drop it right on their website. So now that chatbot can answer questions specific to that customer. So that's number one. And then number two, if they're in your platform, you can have a community in your platform where let's see here, I don't even use this feature, but you can see in the community the different conversations that are going on, right? So you can have your community for all of your users. This is part of the platform included. And then when you build out your AI personality, you can say, let's say I added the Joel personality here. So this is the description. And then someone asked about what's the personality that I'm using. So we have pre-built personalities that are in here. You can then also add a custom personality that you've built out. You don't have to have a personality, but obviously it's better if you do. And for example, in Joel's app, we don't have any additional custom instructions, but you can build in a whole prompt. It could be 3 pages long of what this AI tool can do. And then it goes from there. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yes. All righty. Thank you.
It's a very powerful platform. Have a lot of fun with it, and you can definitely make money off of it, which is why we're here today.
Okay. Right. So I put the homework for next week. I would like to see if you guys can build your knowledge base and also complete your big dream generator.
Do that first and then
do the big dream generator first and then build your knowledge base and ask it to interview you. And then that's your bottom line, your foundational working document going forward. And from there, you can have, be, or do, or create anything you want. But once that's in your portfolio, your files, your documents, it'll stay there, forever. So do first things first. Start your big dream generator in terms of what you want to have, be, or do, or see, and ask it to interview you. If you need assistance, go to the Ask
the AI Sales Coach app. You can just ask that one to help you with an interview.
So what I want you guys to understand is that there are so many apps in here, and I don't want you to get overwhelmed. So our intention is to take you through each one of these to show you how they work. In the meantime, you need to be going in there and just start playing with each individual app yourself to see what it does, see what it doesn't do. Then write down questions for this meeting. Say, hey, I had problems doing this, or I did this. We want you to demonstrate your prowess with this technology. Go out there and just start being creative and start using this thing, because we're all learning together. Keep that in mind. I'm learning from Danny's training me as he's training you. So I just need to emphasize you guys need to go in and start playing around with these tools. Okay, Danny, that's all I have.
And I'll be back on Tuesday, and we'll be having the next AI Workstation on Thursday, where we get together as entrepreneurs making money.
All right, thank you.